If you want to be my friend, you had better go and get a pen. And maybe we could keep in touch like we did in the old days. It wasn't so long ago. Twerk while you're sitting down. And I wish you well.
You're better than me. I'm just thrusting because we can't go back.
Isn't that what twerking is?
Yeah, but
it's just thrusting.
That worst guy at a strip club.
Come over here. I'd like a lap dance. You're like, no.
I'm not gonna touch.
Yeah.
Can we touch?
Can we touch?
Wait, now I gotta turn that on.
Now turn that off. All right, folks, if you haven't figured it out by now, Daniel and I are flying solo.
Kevin McAllister.
We are Kevin McAllister. We don't have Chad isn't here.
I hope
Lissa isn't here. It's just Daniel and I. The cameras are set. We think we're recording. Do you want to do a quick headset check on this?
No, we have to be.
Go check a headset check.
Yeah, but
check. Okay. Go around though. Don't bump anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. You got good.
Yeah, now do it in the mic.
Good.
Are we good? Yeah, I can hear you.
Welcome to Pen Pals.
Wait, yeah. We're okay.
Folks, you think this show hasn't had obstacles? A pandemic?
What if
Zooms?
What if though this makes us realize we don't need anybody?
I don't think we do. I don't think we've ever needed anybody.
Listener, I told Rory this is like when you leave your kids at home for the first time and they have to make their own dinner.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what they're making.
Cereal and waffles. I just made that a lot when my wife was gone.
Really?
This is where cereal. I know how to do it.
You didn't do any big dins?
You know what? I went to the Italian deli, bought some frozen manicotti and some pre-made tomato sauce that is frozen. And I just brought them home, and you put the manicotti in the tray in a dish.
Manicotti.
And you take that now thawed spaghetti sauce and you just cover it, and you just put that in the oven for 25 minutes, and you've got like fresh, not fresh, but nice manicotti.
Yeah.
Tastes great. That's my go-to now. What do I care? What do I give a fuck? Think I fucking care?
No, I don't think you care at all.
No, I don't.
think you care at all.
Now, Daniel, and I could be wrong.
Roar.
Are we supposed to have a guest today?
Well, I mean, usually.
We should address it. This is usually a guest episode.
I wonder how many people would even notice.
I don't know if anyone notices or if they care, but all we want to say is when we do have a guest,
Sure.
it kind of just works out because schedules to get people is tough. And when we don't have a guest, it's because schedules are tough and it's hard to fucking get people.
Also, let's
here.
be honest, we're a little choosy.
We're pretty choosy.
'Cause
We want it
this
to be
is-
someone you'd want.
And we'll go like where the show goes.
Yeah.
I have some friends who won't be named that I love that I would go, I don't know if you could do Pen Pals.
And I would turn them down too.
Yeah.
We got some friends in the fire though.
Oh,
we got
yeah,
some names.
that's true.
We got some names coming down the road. So
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
lose
yeah.
faith in us. But like we said, I don't think anyone who's a listener to the show, it's not like you're sitting there going, where's a fucking guest? You don't give a shit. You just want the fucking hits.
Pen Pals. You
And
just
that's
want your
what we
pen
do.
pals.
We bring the hits.
Also, guys, we've been saying it for we're in our 5th year.
Are we inside of it?
Yes.
Or we're in the 4th year?
We've done 4.
When
we're
did we
in
start?
our 5th.
July what?
11th, 2018.
Okay.
So we are in our 5th year.
19th,
We haven't hit
20,
5 years
21, 22, 23. So we are
in our 5th
So
year.
we're 4.5 years old.
Yep.
Yep.
So a bit of a personality, right? 4.5.
And our
What I was gonna
long-term
say is-
memory is starting to fire out.
Since then, we've been saying hashtag subject to change,
Yeah.
which I
Hashtag
still
subject
think
to
is
change.
our best hashtag. That's
the-
my favorite one because it works on so many different
generates the
levels.
most
The
freedom.
literal subject.
Yeah.
The subjects change every week.
Yeah.
You have a subject when you write in.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all change.
Yeah.
Plus, you can't count on us for any sort
Right.
of consistency
Yeah.
other than friendship and
also,
fun.
Lissa and Chad are fired. So it's a big year for us.
That's how. And we had promised we'll just act like it's just the two of us. We don't need to say they're not fired. They're not fired.
We'll see. We'll see.
Even if today goes perfect.
Quarterly reviews are right around the corner at old Pen Pals Inc.
We do have reviews coming up.
Yeah.
But even if today goes perfect, it's not sustainable.
Right.
That's our problem.
It's not.
What if you did run a company and modeled it after the business in Gremlins 2?
I don't even know what that business is.
I know. I don't either. I think he's a conglomerate. I think he's like a Trump
Well, I don't even
parody.
know what that means. I've never known what a conglomerate is.
Conglomerate, I think, is a multifaceted company with multiple divisions that works across different types of businesses.
Are you reading this off of a cue card?
No.
Where did you get that?
I just let it go.
You went to a space. Adjective, noun, adverb, company that you went right into the
$3 word, $3 word, $3
You
word.
went right to Webster's dictionary inside your own brain.
And you know what? I swear to God,
I saw you. I saw your eyes go white, and you just like said a thing from another life.
I had the stigmata. I had the business stigmata.
Yeah, you have business stigmata. Oh my God, he like knows business.
Oh, that's so fun. That's
I don't
such
know
a
any
dumb
conglomerate.
skit. Like, yeah, he has a stigmata. When he goes in, he's like the best businessman you've ever known.
He's the best at investing.
You could literally go, Daniel, $10,000 cash. Repeat what you said.
I don't think you could either.
There's no way.
But we have it recorded, and that's the only proof that you ever even said it at all.
And Succession is helping me know this because a conglomerate.
Such an educational program.
They have cruise ships. They have theme parks. They
Okay,
have a news
got it.
station.
Got it. I'll now know it forever.
Yeah. It's just 'cause I think it's like that. Like
You lost me when you said multifaceted, because that's
didn't
another word
remember
I
I
don't
said
know.
that. Yes, you do. The many faces.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
okay.
multifaceted. Acting,
Okay.
podcasting,
Okay.
stand-up, artist. That's a
Artist,
big,
painter.
big departure. Yes.
Painter.
Yeah. Can I say something about your most recent one? And then I know Lissa's. Lissa's mad at us. That's as though.
Hey,
Sorry, we'll go.
Hey.
We'll go.
how good to not have the tension of her just eyeing us, right? When
Although-
she like looks at us and she goes,
Mhm.
it's like, we don't have to deal with that right now.
Although she did give us
Sometimes I'll look at Lissa and she's going,
right,
and then I'll look over at Chad and he's going, and he's got a cigarette usually,
and
but-
then Lissa has to go. Oh my God, they can tell.
and he's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And he puts the cigarette out on his
know.
own hand.
I know to prove a
Like,
point.
to prove a point to himself. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. He
Chad,
doesn't-
you're
usually
a
turns his back to us, and he doesn't think we know. That's how he's
Hey,
putting
there's
it out.
so much smoke, and he acts like he's not smoking
I
a
don't even
cigarette.
remember what the fuck I was gonna. Oh,
Yes, you do.
no,
Yes.
fuck. Well, the one
Yes.
thing I was gonna say after the thing I started to say was, but the good thing about when Lissa's here, she let us know that we can keep saying chicks.
Oh yeah.
That was big. We
my
needed
buddy
her for that.
Casey Corbin messaged me as to why you're allowed to keep saying chicks, because it comes from chica, which comes from
Where'd you go?
Chiquita, something that means woman, chica meaning girl,
Okay.
and he goes, so it's a derivative. Is that right? Of that.
I would have to go back
Chick.
and listen to what
allowed
I
to
was
say
gonna
chick.
say to
What
remember.
do you say for a guy? What's a guy's like chicks?
chick?
What is chicks for guys?
guys? What? Yeah. Oh,
Dicks.
Dudes?
Dicks.
this group of dicks.
Look at
walks
these
in.
dicks over here. And when someone says, like, do you ever notice your natural instinct when someone goes, guys are dicks? You're old enough now where you go, yeah,
Can I?
you're not wrong.
Can I ask? I'm gonna say something to you, and I promise we'll go. And someday
Some are good.
I'll go back and watch this episode and see if it re-jogs my memory to what I was gonna say. But I was recently out to lunch with a couple of my friends that I grew up with,
Okay, go on.
and a group of guys walks in, like 8 guys, and instantly I was annoyed by them. Just instantly. Like,
You haven't even heard
they
of
hadn't done anything. And I was like, oh, these fucking guys. And then I thought, I used to be that age, because they were probably around 22.
Yeah.
And I thought,
also-
the only difference between me and them is that I'm not in that group.
Yeah, I know.
And if I was in that group, I'd be like, we're good people. We're fun.
It's people's
just- you just
hatred
see it-
toward each other all the time. It's
No,
literally
but
all
I
of the
just mean,
animosity.
you're sitting at dinner or whatever, and you're sitting at even a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And next to you, they sit a group of 6 guys.
No.
Right?
No.
You're instantly like, ugh, fuck. Whether it doesn't even have to be a bachelor party.
You know what's funny? Because if they sit a group of 6 guys next to you, And given the restaurant,
It could be. And I'm
this,
thinking of
this will
Hooters.
sound arrogant,
You
but like, hear
bet.
me all the way through. You look over and you think those guys are kind of underdressed. You're like, ugh, these clowns. And then if you look and they're overdressed, you're like, these fucking clowns. Like there's almost no leeway until you hear them talk, and truly you're like, you kind of overhear the conversation, and based on the content of it, you go, oh, they're all right.
Yeah. But my instant thing is like, there's a fucking. I don't know.
You know what's funny is that we are those people, because when a show ends and we as a group of 5 or 6 or whatever comedians walk in, we are worse than those guys.
I know.
We're loud.
The only difference is
we think we're being funny. And even if we are,
right.
no one knows the context.
And there's usually one guy in our group that we have to tell the server or a bartender,
sorry,
ignore him.
And also sorry.
Yeah, ignore him.
And he's like, what? I can't
joke around.
Sorry about him.
And then even when the server or bartender is like, oh, he's fine, and you're like, he's not. Like when they're like, no, you guys are good. We're like, he's not good.
Yeah.
And
let me tell you what. The ingredients, the recipe outcome doesn't change if you go, but maybe there's some women in the group, comedians. Like there's guy comedians and girl comedians. It doesn't change.
Nope.
We're all so
but the only difference is I'm not in that group. So.
You know, you remember the Nintendo game Ice Hockey? And you can pick the super thin guy. You can pick the chubby little guy. This guy, the average guy, this fast guy. No matter what you do with comedians, you could change the race, you could change the type of performer, the gender, the clothes, the level of income. It will not change the recipe if you put 6 of us together and we're coming into a bar or a restaurant or a diner after a show. We are always going to be the same level of annoying.
the Sunday of Come and Take It, you were gone. You're 100% right. You were gone, and there was 5 of us comics having dinner at that restaurant next to Secret Group, and the whole time I just wanted
that nice place.
I just wanted to apologize the whole time.
It's too loud.
We're everything.
Yeah.
This is a more you line than me on stage, like your non sequiturs or so much fun.
Yeah.
Just you going to kind of like anything worse than a group of guys. Like that would hit in your flow. Like the worst, right?
You just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, we know exactly what you mean.
Group of guys. You know what I mean?
Just a group of guys. They come in, you're like,
oh, God.
Group of guys, and more than, let 6 guys come in. 2 have on jerseys. You're like, I can't.
Nope. Well, guys, we're out. We haven't ordered yet. We're out of it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Last call.
We don't have it.
It's 10 p.m. It's a weird thing we do.
Hey, and also, look, don't think that Daniel and I are doing the ass kissy thing where fucking women are great. Group of women come in, you've got the same fucking issues.
Yeah.
You've got the same annoyance.
I, as a bartender, group of women, here we go.
At a comedy show. You know why everyone makes the joke about a bachelorette party? Because only one time in my almost 20 years of doing stand-up has there ever been a bachelor party at a show. And they got up to leave. The bachelor has not laughed the whole show. They get up to leave, and I go, of course. Why were you ever here?
Yeah.
Like, get out. This is so stupid. This guy, and he was mad. I go, he's right. I go, I could be crushing. He's right.
Yeah.
Because if I'm him and we're here, also it was in Tacoma. No, not to slander, but it wasn't even a fucking venue.
But
it was a basement.
Like, guys,
it was a basement at a bar. His buddies thought, we'll go
get
Rory.
drunk and throw stuff.
I think I was like, how are you not at a strip club? If you take me out, now strip club seems hacky, but if someone goes, hey, Rory, you're getting married in a month.
Comedy
you want to
show?
go to a strip club or a comedy show? I'm like, strip club, even if it's a shitty one.
Even if I go to the part of the bar where I can't see the stage.
Yes.
I'm having even if I'm in the parking lot of a strip
Even if we
club.
don't go inside.
Right.
Just knowing that something fun is going on inside there is better than being inside of here.
Right, because at least even outside the strip club, you can talk as loud and as much as you want.
Yes. So, when a group of women show up at a comedy show, that's why comics will divert to, you guys a bachelorette party? Because it usually is.
Yes.
And they usually want to be like, yeah, everyone, can you believe our life? Everyone has been, no one, there is nothing unique about that story. You would have to say, Literally, are you guys a bachelorette party? The next words need to be, yes, and she survived cancer 3 times. To have the performer on stage go,
oh, shit.
and so kind of walk me through that. Like, but when you got, yeah, she's getting married. Isn't that crazy? No. It's not. What's crazy
what would be awesome,
is that
Rory?
you're here at this.
You could never do that. You go, no, that's not crazy. You know what's crazy? Getting married right now, and you bring out her fiance
and you
onto the
have
stage,
to.
and you have. Now that's fucking crazy. Getting married right now, not in 3 months.
Not her fiance.
Sure.
Just have a logo.
You get it annulled. You can get it annulled.
We got a bachelorette party. You're gonna come out. You're the pastor. You come out. You're the guy she has to marry, and we're gonna practice it. Oh my God, we should do this at our show.
Oh, I would do it at a
Like
heartbeat.
anytime you're on the road and there's a bachelorette party and you see it before you go up, orchestrate with the local comics to go, we're going to practice her wedding and everyone's going to be a part. And then at the end, I'm going to go, is this the attention you wanted?
Right.
And if you say yes, you're going to be great at the wedding. You're going to get all the attention.
So good. 16
I'm
minutes.
not saying men don't love attention. We do. 16 minutes. Let's go to the letters! You know why we were able to riff for so long?
Why?
We didn't have this. I hope people picture that. She's going to hate that.
I know.
She's going to hate that. I'm going to read first.
Yeah.
Me first?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
This one, right?
Yep.
Hey, Rory and Daniel. At some point, we do have to just start conceding, right? Or do we feel it every time? You feel it, but you don't express it. Like, that was the most minimal expression you've ever done. Yeah. Knowing you can't fight it.
Shut up.
I've long been fascinated with how the day-to-day of being a touring artist would look. Every time
how fitting. We've sort of segued into this.
Unnaturally,
Yeah,
too.
so well, let's get some of our time back.
Oh, yeah, so we do get some of our time back. Lissa. Chad, wake up. Every time I go see a performer at a club-sized show, I inevitably spend at least a little bit of time wondering how they're getting paid for this gig, both out of idle curiosity and also with an eye on trying to make sure the band, comedian, whatever I came to see got some of my bucks in their pocket at the end of the night. This isn't coming from I wish I had made this sort of thing work in my 20s wistful place. That sort of financial insecurity and general uncertainty sounds like an absolute deepest depths of hell nightmare to me. No judgments on those that take the plunge for sure, just not something for me.
Okay.
But I remain curious about how this sort of thing works out, or at least comes close for these artists I go see. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what touring looks like from a money, what to eat, where to sleep, practical standpoint, both while you were first starting touring and what it looks like now. My baseless assumption, if I had to guess, was that the artist gets at least 75% of the ticket sales, probably same percentage on merch. If the club has a guy that works the table, hopefully all of it's you and or your crew, and the club venue gets the sales from the bar kitchen. Respectfully submitted. I write a lot of very formal letters at work, and I never fail to get a kick out of saying the above in a stupid accent while I type. It's the little things. Bob.
God, I'll never forget it the rest of my life.
I'll never remember it because I don't know what that is.
I want you to watch it and then see if
And I won't.
like it. I might put it on our list. Do we have a list?
Of course we have a list.
Friday Night Lights.
Of course we have a list.
Is there any episodes of Friday Night Lights I should be waiting to watch with you specifically?
Wait, have you started the show?
Sort of.
How deep into it are you? Lissa, how deep into it are you?
Chad, we can smell your cigarette.
Yeah.
What?
Is that pop?
Very early. Very, very early.
Give me a number.
3rd episode.
When did you start?
A couple weeks ago.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Are you crying at all?
Yet?
Good. Wait, you have or haven't? Did you
What?
say yes or yet?
Yet.
Have you cried?
No.
Why?
Did you know Lila
He'll
Garrett?
never walk again.
Lila Garrity's dad,
In Buddy Garrity.
Buddy, is in the pilot of The Last of Us.
Yes. Oh,
You
is
didn't
he?
know that. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I
heard
he is great in the show.
He's amazing. He's
In fact,
a great actor. He's in something else I recently saw.
He's in
too.
a few things, but I will tell you, Buddy Garrity is such a great name for a character.
And we know that guy. I could tell you off mic.
You don't want to know his real name. You know it. But
Right.
Buddy Garrity, you almost want to go, change it.
But that guy,
change your life.
we
to this.
knew that guy in high school.
Yes.
He's still alive. He's probably still lives in both of our towns.
Yes.
And off mic, I will tell you who anybody who's from Rochelle that listens to this already knows who Buddy Garrity is in Rochelle. But I could tell you his name, and someday I bet you might meet him.
That's why it's good writing.
I love him. I love him to death.
How about Kyle Chandler?
Dude, is there any episodes I should be waiting?
I'm going to try to get Kyle Chandler on this show.
Dude, I love the show Early Edition.
Can I just say something? And this is just a little bit of a
Did you
teaser.
just say you're going to try and get Kyle Chandler? If you got...
Let me tell this story.
I would say Kyle Chandler is just below Michael Keaton for me.
Daniel and I have talked about various celebrities that are...
going through divorce.
Dating up.
Yeah.
That are dating up for us as guys who can get guests.
Yeah.
And I will say, I have undeniable proof that we have listeners of this show who actively try to get us those guests. It warms my heart
awesome.
to no end because I know that they want to see what that looks like, but also they know it's a huge benefit to the show. Mm-hmm. And I think they also know this would be a good guest for the show. Add Kyle Chandler to that list. If you listen to this show and you are like, oh, I know him, or I know of him, or I know a friend, or there's any connection whatsoever.
Yeah.
I will never stop putting out into the universe the people we want on this show. Not that it doesn't, not that that's all you can do.
No.
But if you don't put it out into the universe,
right,
you can't spark the initiation of maybe the wheels turning to get you there. I'm not talking about just believing because you said it.
No. I get you.
But
I'm
you
with
say someone's name, someone hears it. This is how the wheels work. It doesn't
my
work
cousin
every
went to
time.
college with them. They're super close.
We're in our what Daniel claims to be our 5th year of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know the math. But we have put Michael Keaton into the universe since probably the first month of doing this show.
Sure.
He's not been on the show. I am not lying or BSing when I say I am almost certain that he will do this show one day, barring that he passes away before he's given the chance.
God forbid.
And a live man, Michael Keaton, I believe one day will be a guest on this show, and I do not know why I believe that, but I really do.
Yeah, I do too. Here's the thing. 2 quick things, and I promise we'll go to this.
Yes. The letters.
Pennies.
I don't even need the letters.
Pallers.
Yeah.
Patronies.
Yes.
What if you've watched every episode that we've released?
Oh, never even considered it. So Patronies is I've heard everything available.
Yes.
Pallers is I have listened to everything available.
Yes.
Pennies is
In and
I
out.
like the show.
I love the
and
show.
I'm listening whether I get there or
I
not.
save it up for road trips. I haven't heard them all, whatever.
I'm in. I'm a friend.
Right.
I'm a friend of
What
the
if
show.
you watch, you subscribe to the YouTube channel and you watch?
But does watching mean all encompassingly? I've watched, I've listened, everything. You've done everything.
At least since we've done this. So Will Ferrell and beyond.
Okay. If you're newly listening to this show, we have had Will Ferrell as a guest. Probably worth your time to go back and check it out. But let this episode end. We got a good letter here.
Yeah.
I don't know what it should be called. We should talk about it.
Okay. Last thing. If we find out someone does get us a guest, Kyle Chandler, I'm thinking pin or jacket that says Pen Pals Mail Carrier. Because they've delivered us. And they've delivered our show to a guest. If they got us a big guest, they are an official mail carrier of the Pen Pals podcast.
The guest has to confirm it.
We'll make a pin or we'll do a jacket.
I got it better.
A scarf.
The guest has to confirm it.
Yes, of course.
But if it's confirmed, because this will obviously, I would say in the lifetime of this show, this is maybe 7 people that even get this.
100%.
It's a mail carrier redesigned, but basically what Cliff wore in Cheers, just redesigned, almost like it's that letter carrier jacket, but like it's almost been spiffed up like you're in like Hell's Angels or something. It's like a biker gang, big huge thing on the background, or maybe not even very bold. Mail carrier, it just said Pen Pals
mail carrier,
and it's just a nice jacket, good lining. We spend the money to do it. But you got to prove that you
it's got to be
it.
confirmed.
And it can't be, I wrote a letter. It can't be like, I DM'd. It would have to be the DM that made it happen.
Right.
Yeah. This is something we'll talk about.
They would have to say, like Michael Keaton would have to go, well, you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, your listener over in Iowa reached out to me.
Yeah.
And also, can we also say this? Do not do that. Do not annoy celebrities.
Then we lose it.
Yes, and then we lose it, and then we all look bad, and whether you feel it or not, you look bad.
Yeah.
Don't badger anybody. We're
Don't
talking
badger.
about
no badgering.
Yeah,
We're talking like legit sleuthing where you think you've got an in.
Yeah, or you're laughing in line at the hardware store and
Don't
and
publish
Michael
the
Keaton
story
is
without
like,
two sources.
Oh, what are you laughing about? And you go, it's this great show, Pennies. You know, they love you. You should do that. That sort of stuff can happen, but not a like, I've DM'd you 8 days in a row.
No stakeouts.
No stakeouts.
Unless we're trying to get Emilio or Richard Dreyfuss. Get it? Get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Daniel.
Sorry.
Daniel.
This might be a 1-letter day.
That's fine. It's hey, well, half our crew is here.
Hold up real quick, Rory.
Why?
Let's take a quick break and we'll come right back to this.
Great. Okay.
All right, we're back. Rory, what were you saying?
I was just saying.
Okay.
Here's what I want to. I want to talk about. First off, pay when you start out. A lot of times, an MC gets $50 for a show. This is a club show.
Yeah.
$50 for an MC.
Yep.
Usually $100 for a feature. Now, granted,
MC's
this
also a
is
host.
what I'm telling you is pay from 2004.
No, it's
which
still the same.
Is still the same.
Because mine's probably like
We're talking about 20 years later.
14, 15. Last time I knew, but I know it's still the same.
It's still 50,
And
100, and then based on your level of popularity, that will determine the club's deal with you as a headliner.
Right.
Like if you are very famous, you usually get 100% of the door because you're right. They're going to get food and beverages where there is so much fucking money. If you are decent, if you're at a decent level, you can walk with 70 to 80%. It's all negotiable.
True,
And that's after certain expenses of promotional stuff and all of these things.
And that's a club scenario. I mean, if you want, you can rent your own venue, pay
you
the
can
whole freight, and then you take everything.
You take everything, and it's a different balance all over the place with different places.
It's
For
a
me
whole new
personally,
world.
some clubs give me a fucking great deal. Some clubs give me an okay deal. Clubs that don't give me a good deal, I don't go to anymore. It's not a necessary thing because I also do have another job as an actor, so I'm not so having to take gigs all the time. However, to backtrack and to keep us chronological, starting out, it's very hard as a touring comedian because you usually start out as a feature. You're usually making $100 a show. You're usually doing a weekend where you are going to get $500 for the weekend. You are usually given a hotel. You should be given a hotel
Unless
by
you
the club.
live there.
Unless you live there. But if you are traveling, you're probably anywhere, and this is going back to when I was a feature. So your flight could be anywhere from $200 to $300 round trip, which I know kind of sounds like I'm making that up, but I am talking about 15 to 20 years ago.
No, it's
So the way that I would tour, and you can speak to this similarly or differently, but the way that I would tour is that I would book a date and then try to regionally stay in that area, getting rides with other comics to do shows, one-nighters where you maybe make $100 or $200, whatever you can do to
this is when you were
beef
featuring,
up. This is when I was like
headlining?
featuring and headlining a little bit.
Yes, this is the way to do it.
This is you're trying to beef up the amount you can make total to come back with. So what does that mean? That means cutting your expenses wherever you can. Couches. You're sleeping on couches nonstop. At that level, if it's not a club giving you a hotel, you are crashing on any floor you can fucking crash on, or any couch you can crash on with any
Or
comic.
sometimes they'll say to you, we can get you a hotel or we can give you $80. And
Yes.
and then you'll take that and go sleep
and
on
go
it.
sleep on someone's floor.
Yeah.
Just, it works. Your food, it is usually so much fast food. You're trying to eat
At the club.
at the lowest level, so you'll eat at the club. If a comedy club does not give the 3 comics a meal for each night of the shows, that is a shitty fucking club that
Agreed.
doesn't fucking care about the comics. But those aren't your only meals. Also, side note, to play devil's advocate, if you're the comic showing up, getting the free meal, and also ordering a meal to go, which I've also seen headliners do, live your own life and do what you do, but that's also a fucking weird, shitty thing to do. Now, can the club afford it and pay for it? Yes, but enough
Especially
people
if your
do
ticket
that.
Sales are good.
Enough people do that. That's why a lot of times MCs find themselves without a fucking meal because somebody fucked up the system and kind of took more than their fair share.
Yeah.
So you take your one meal and you should usually get free drinks. It polices itself. When I was a feature MC and someone was like, yeah, you can have free drinks, whatever you want. I'm smart enough to know I do need to be able to perform on that fucking 10:30 show, and I can't be sloppy and fuck it up because then maybe I don't work this club
And
again.
unlike food, if it is a free drink scenario, you can always go, did you guys already close up? Can I get just one more before you guys are done? That's
Yeah.
a fine thing. But
Yeah.
the food to go is very like,
Yeah.
okay.
Another tip, not that you're asking for tips, you're asking
No,
for how it
yeah,
works,
how
but
it
also
works.
another thing is if you're a comic and you're getting like free drinks and you get the meal and stuff and you don't fucking tip that waiter or waitress for their service. Now, granted, here's the thing. If you're tight on money and you don't drink and you're not eating the meal, I'm not sitting there going, hey, you need to tip for a thing you didn't ever get. That I agree 100%. That's like when you go split food with everybody and some guy is like, I'm going to go tomahawk steak and I'm going to go side Caesar salad. We're not splitting the meal kind of deal. But if you do partake, you need to throw some fucking money at the the waitress that are in the same boat of like working to fucking make money, which is what we're all doing.
Yep.
So what does that mean? You're eating a lot of fast food. You're eating a lot of shit that's not healthy for you. You're trying your best to not spend a lot of money because the goal is that when you do eventually fly back home after whatever this run was, you brought some profit back towards fucking rent, groceries, bills, shit like that.
Yeah.
So early on, I know I'm doing a lot of the talking here,
No,
but I
I
think
love
it's probably
it.
right.
Go
But,
for it, yeah.
but you know, I'm specifically talking about a time when I moved to New York City.
You're also
and-
covering everything. I
moved to New York City. I went on the road. I would go to the Pacific Northwest to do a lot of gigs. I went to Canada, Western Canada, to do the Yuck Yucks run and do a lot of gigs and make as much money as I could to come back. But also, just so you know, Bob, I had 3 jobs as well in New York City that could come and go, like temp work that would hook me up for like a month or 2 months worth of work, or I would work for a moving company, and I would also go and paint apartments with Scott Moran, and this moving company I worked with Andy Haynes. Like all these guys can tell you, like survival of this occupation. When you say the uncertainty of the money and how that's absolutely a hellish nightmare, you're not wrong. But the thing that is buried inside of us as performers, artists, whatever specific label you want to give it, the uncertainty of the money is where you start. So it doesn't seem as daunting. When you start to do stand-up and you bomb or do okay, at no point are you ever going, yeah, and then one day I'll make all of my income doing this. That seems absurd. Even if you're performing well, it just doesn't seem like, oh, I don't know how this works out. You've got to be famous, like Jerry Seinfeld, to then like do all that, or all these other people that would come through the club and do great. You go, oh, I'm not on TV. I'm not in movies. I'm not a famous fucking seasoned comedian. So you're kind of just doing this thing that you develop a non-money related passion and love for, which causes you to become better at it, as we all would. If you're passionate about something, you will get better at it. And because you get better at it, you start falling into some areas where people start giving you money to do it. And then you just find yourself in this position of doing it for money. And everything I just told you about featuring and the hotels and all that, that is the middle level, quite literally and figuratively, where people are going to either keep doing it or stop doing stand-up. Because that is when...
And they're either going to tell themselves or the industry is going to tell them.
Yeah, you're not making enough money
You're not selling enough
to
tickets.
survive.
Yeah.
You don't sell any tickets. You are the middle act. So you're no longer doing it like, oh, no one pays me anyways. Now you are getting paid, but it's not enough. And to commit to go on the road to do it means you have to step away from some of those gigs you've got at home that are your paycheck. And so that's kind of how the touring starts. Now, this story is not for everybody. Even these the two of us sitting in this room don't have an identical story of what it's like to dive in and start doing this. But for me personally, and I know yours is a similar story, I have seen very good comics stop right here because it is a financial burden. And some people have the money to push through. They have maybe the financial support from people to push through. And then some people like myself, I am good at stand-up. I know that I am good at comedy, but I'm not lying when I say a lot of it is also right place, right time, right person. And I then got in front of somebody. I just happened to go on this Canadian tour in 2006. It didn't fall from the sky. My manager at the time,
stay
Blair.
on point. You risked going on.
Yeah.
You risked going on that.
My
Canadian
manager at the
tour.
time, Blair Postman, was like, you can go to this tour. There was another manager out of Michigan, Dave Morose, that like had some of his clients had gone and done this tour. And so I went and also got to do this tour. And I had to quit my job to go do it. So I wasn't going to be coming back to a job. And I went for, it was supposed to be like a month, maybe a little over a month, but I went to Seattle right beforehand and met some people, met Scott Moran, and then, with Andy Haynes. And then I went and did this tour. And in the middle of that tour, I get a message that they need someone else to fill some spots for the Seattle comedy competition that is just around the corner. And I just was able to go, well, I don't have a job anymore, so I can go straight from Canada to go do this festival, this competition, which takes a month to do, and sleep on people's couch. I quite literally lived with Scott Moran on his couch during almost all of that, bouncing
and he
around
was on the
Seattle.
couch too, which was
so we were just laying on top of each other. It was intimate. It was sensual.
You'd rotate.
Yeah, we would rotate every 30 minutes. And so because of that, I got to go into a competition right after doing a month and a half of performing all the time. So I went and did well in this competition because I've just been doing it for so long. And then it just so happens at the end of that competition, the producers from Comedy Central for Live at Gotham are doing an audition for the show at the DC Improv, where I live, literally the next night that I come back from now having done stand-up for 2.5 months and doing it almost every night for 2.5 months. You're tuned. I'm not being hyperbolic, even though I clearly am, but I never in my entire career have felt more like a Jedi in my life of what I do. I had zero fear, and so I got to go on stage and do just 6 minutes, which I had just been doing in the competition for Live at Gotham. And in the first thing, the microphone broke, and I joked about that with zero fear for most of the time, told 2 or 3 jokes, got off stage, and was just in this space of like, of course I should get it. Like, maybe I won't, but that's what I do. I crushed it, and I feel great about it because I know who I am and I know what I'm doing. And then I got Live at Gotham, which gives you a credit, which none of this stuff moves things as fast, I think, as young comics and people on the outside think. Yeah, it moves so slow. No joke, when I watched my Live at Gotham, this was still in the days of MySpace. I'm looking at my MySpace thinking it's going to go, oh my God, I love you. Maybe five new people decide to like look into MySpace or say something on it, or I can't even remember how MySpace works, but I remember thinking, this is going to explode my life. And all I have ever learned from that date, and I'm pretty sure that aired in 2007, all the way until even now, having been in a movie called Babylon, which is the biggest movie I've ever been in. Nothing has changed in terms of, yes, more people are aware. Right. And the good news is you'll get another job because you did good in this job. Yeah. And it just keeps
it's all I say going. It's all lily pads.
It's all lily pads. And maybe you do make some more money and maybe you do get a bigger thing, but it is all, there's so many elements of it that are outside of your control. Now, I know I'm taking over this episode. I'm sorry. I'm so fired up by this.
Rory.
So
we've been doing this long enough. You know that if I had something I really wanted to say.
But to catch up to now. So that is touring then.
I didn't
Now,
want you to stop. I wanted
is-
you to go, I have a guy.
Yeah.
You're like,
Well,
so I go to the Apollo Theater.
But you
and
can
I
show-
look out into the
Yeah.
and you just keep going.
But my point being, a lot of that was just the fate of the universe
I
of
read
right place,
11,
right
22,
time.
63.
And so all I did do was what I did have control over, which was be nice to comics in Seattle. And they were nice to say, hey, Ron Reed, you should book Rory Scovel for this open slot in your festival.
Well,
so he then
I love
did.
you, so I think you're undeniable, right? I think if it wasn't this, it would be that. But what you really did was you created a vacuum in your life for opportunity to come up. Now, the sad reality is some people do that. They say, okay, I'm quitting this job, and they create these vacuums for opportunities, and the timing doesn't line up,
Yes.
and that doesn't come for them.
And
there's some people who create that vacuum for decades,
Yeah.
and then it eventually does. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And we both know people in this industry that it was later in life for them than what people would think is the normal, that things
Yeah.
really started cooking and taking off. Some of our very close friends.
Yeah.
Here's one that's very popular. It's not news to anybody. Tom Segura.
Yeah.
Right? Tom's been amazing forever.
Yeah.
Tom is now one of the biggest fucking names in comedy in the world.
Yeah.
Right? And it happened at an age that was beyond the traditional number for most people. And so vacuums happen or opportunities come at different times. You're talking about the time you created a vacuum and opportunity happened. I think that if it wasn't that, because I love you and I think you're great, it would have happened in another way. But
like a lot of
but
it,
you had to, like right here, that uncertainty, that
there's elements you do control, and that is your behavior, your etiquette, your respect for other people, and just not and I see people like this all the time, not doing it falsely because that's how you need to be to get things, but doing it because that makes things just better around you. Makes the energy better around you by having a good Brody Stevens positive vibe, positive energy. That stuff will come back to you, but you don't have that positive energy because you want those things to come back to you, because then they don't. That's not positive energy. But positive energy just because you're like, what is the point in being friction? What is the point in being a piece of shit? So I happened to, be in Seattle, and I didn't have an expectation of anything. I just
created a vacuum.
I was like,
and you kept
this is a new
taking
comedy scene. I
opportunity.
was blown away by the fact that I was traveling and in Seattle. I couldn't believe I was about to go to Canada, which I had never been out of the country. And that's kind of going out of the country. But things that I never thought would ever fucking happen in my life, I was now doing it and just having fun and just getting on a ride and going, oh my God, I'm doing stand-up. I mean, I have a journal that I've gone back and looked at of things I'd written at that time, and I couldn't believe that I was at, at a show in Seattle getting to do 5 minutes, just weird. It's, I don't know. It's that's where I met Hari Kanabolu. Like that being in that, at that random show and meeting so many Seattle comics and just being nice. Like it led to a thing, which led to a thing, which led to a thing. And like that you can control. How you treat other people and how much you commit to learning your craft.
Conan,
if you
be nice,
do those
work hard.
things, yes, be nice, work hard. And there's a lot of people who are nice and they do work hard, but they might have a dream that they maybe can't facilitate with their ability. And that's a heartbreaking life story. It is, but some people it does work out. And I don't ever look at any of this like I'm special or I did something special. It truly, and I'm saying this to the people who are listening that maybe want to take on an endeavor, be it this one or something else. It's just you try it and you do it. And I was able to stay alive because of the touring. People were nice to me. They let me sleep in their homes. If people didn't do that, I might not be sitting right here doing this. If people didn't show up and go, hey, it wasn't great tonight, but you're good.
Right.
You're a random person.
Yeah.
If I didn't, my first hosting gig at the DC Improv, like an official gig, was with Bobcat Goldthwait. And he said, you're good. And that mattered. That really mattered to me in terms of, and I still say this, I see him all the time. Not all the time, but I still see him in my life randomly.
Yeah.
And I still say, you're the first one. And you said I was good. And I'm now standing before you sharing this entertainment space with you because you said I was good. It mattered to me. And so all of those things, you mix all that up. Those are the early days of touring. So the reason I told the story that way, with all of those details, is because I wanted to make sure you understand why it is not a hellscape nightmare when there's little to no money and you're eating beans out of a can and you're heating up pizza with an iron in a hotel room, or SpaghettiOs with a coffee maker in a fucking hotel in Calgary, because all of these other elements are such a blissful thing. You don't so much care about the money. Fast forward to now. Daniel and I very much want to be compensated for our skill set, because now it is more of a business. Do Daniel and I sit here and say, if someone said, Rory, what would you rather have? The joy and innocence that used to come with doing stand-up, or the money that you currently make? I have to say, I can't immediately go, I like the money, because I do genuinely miss the purity of performing stand-up when nothing was on the line. And once you step out, it's like taking the blue pill or the red pill, whatever the fucking he takes. You cannot go back. You can't go back, because now it is a business. Now you are incorporated. Now you have to earn an income. Now you've got expenses. It becomes a business. It changes
your time. So you go back to that New York kid, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Is it worth my time to quit this job and leave this apartment to go? Yes. Right now it's like, is it worth my time to not get to hang out with my wife and my daughter?
Yes.
And enjoy this time.
It's a different sacrifice.
It's big. The thing interesting now about touring too is it's all, and not just touring as in, I'm going to do in 30 dates over 45 days. Even just going on the road, right? Be on tour, whatever you want to call it, a little mini tour. It's always almost now it's also contextual, right? What is the gig?
Yeah.
Did they ask me to do it? Or do I want to be in that city anyway?
Yeah.
So, for example, if somebody goes, Rory, we want you to come do our festival, okay? They're obviously going to give you airfare. They're obviously going to, or it'll be a buyout. They're going to obviously give you a hotel, and then here's what you could make at our festival, or the flat rate we're going to pay you.
Yes.
Versus, I really want to go follow Tool around, so let's just find some places we can do shows there. And if we have friends that live in that city, let's just crash with them.
Yeah.
And so it is almost contextual now for each thing that you do. What is your expectation? If I'm in Houston, you would say to yourself, I can just crash with Andrew.
Right.
Versus, the Improv is begging me to come do a weekend there. So if they go, well, can you crash with Andrew? You're going to go, no, you're asking me to come to a weekend.
Yes.
You're going to give me a hotel. Well, we know that last time you were here, you're like, last time I was trying to make friends with Tool.
Yeah.
So I don't.
And to that point.
So it's almost contextual now, too.
To that point, here's a switch that happens as well. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily a good thing. And it's not necessarily a trait I hate in myself or like in myself.
Okay.
But now I might check into a nice hotel. I might get to the room and I might go, this is my room. Two things happen. One, do I want to go say something? Should I get another hotel? Is this where I'm at? And the second thing that happens is I remember sitting on a floor in this Cambrook, maybe, this small town.
So many floors.
I mean, a strip of a main street in Canada, sitting on the floor, eating cold something food after a show where I fucking headlined and ate garbage, watching, it all comes back, watching two things. One, old school Spider-Man. Okay. I am high as fuck, flipping the channels right as Billy Bob Thornton starts his speech in the movie Friday Night Lights, and I am sitting there crying. So those two things happen in my brain. Rory, should you have a better hotel room? Yes. I'm fucking worth it.
There's weird black hairs. There's weird black hairs in the shower.
I don't like this.
Right.
I want better.
Right.
And then the other thing is, don't forget where you fucking came from, because this is better.
Yeah.
And I'm not here, like I said, I'm not here to say that I don't go down and go, I'm not staying in this fucking hotel. I'm not going to say that I haven't done that.
Yeah.
But those two things happen, and sometimes I let it pass, and sometimes I don't. That's who you become as someone who tours. You want the hotel. You want someone to pick you up. You want your rate to be better. You want to get a nice meal. You want, for me personally, I am like, hey, the show is close to starting and no one has come into the green room to bring me a water. You do feel like a little bit of a prima donna,
especially where we're
about
from. You hear the Greenville, you hear the Rochelle go. You really give a fuck.
You feel kind of. I want the show to run this way, and it's all fluctuates. Sometimes you're right, and it should, and sometimes it shouldn't. But I will say
sometimes you're a little bit of a diva, but also right.
Yes, and so I will now bring it all. I will now close it all up.
Okay,
I think you're gonna love this. I like this letter specifically because my tour starts in April. This will more than likely be the first tour. This is the first tour where I've charged a little bit more money for the ticket prices. This is the first tour I have booked venues that are a little bit bigger than I usually book. And I don't even know how I'm going to do in some of these cities. This is the first time I have decided I'm going to dress up. I'm going to fucking show up. I'm going to show up and show up. This is the first time my hour will be as tight as I can get it before I start the tour. It will tighten forever. It always does, but it will be in a good place before I start, which is not usually what I do either, because I just figure it out all the fucking time. That will happen. This will be the first tour I probably have a tour manager, which will be an expense. This will be the first time I decide I'm going to try to help cover more expenses for my openers than I used to make sure we all go home with a good amount of money.
Right.
All of those things are where I'm at
first tour you
now.
do cocaine.
Is the first time I try coke and go on stage. Every show, every night, and during the day. But the place that I am at now, and specifically why I like this letter, is because while I took a huge swing to quit my job and go to Canada, this tour alone, I'm not going to go into bankruptcy. But for my career, I'm taking a huge swing to see, can I tour at this level? Can I sell tickets at this level? Am I at this level? I don't really know. I know my act, and I know where I think my act. I know the level where my act is at, and where I think how it should be appreciated, or how I should be compensated for it. And I know where that's at. Yeah. Now I'm going to do all the other things around it to match where I think that act is, and I'm going to shoot that hour and see what becomes of it. But all of it is this same exact risk of, I'm going to quit my job to go to Canada, do this tour, and see where my fucking life heads. It is headed to this moment where I have everything I fucking need. I am doing fine. I am grateful for all of it. But now is the time to go, do we stay here, or do we now spend some money, take some risks, and see if we can go even further down the fucking rabbit hole? And so that's what I'm doing. I don't say that as someone who's like, I want to play arenas one day. That's not necessarily a target for me. But I would like to confidently play a lot of theaters in this country that are the right size for me and enjoy it and figure out how to do it. So this is that tour for me. And if you want to know how to make it less the version of major concern, know that every single thing you see Daniel and I doing, including this podcast, it all exists and is hinged on you listeners and viewers liking it enough to want to see it, to maybe pay to see it, but mostly to tell other people about it.
Sure.
That is our entire career, and that has been our entire career since the very beginning of the touring that I started with. When I say I no longer just have the club tell me what I'll make as a headliner and I get to negotiate it, it is because people came to my shows over a number of years and told other people, or they came on a whim and I earned them as fans because I did well that night. These are the things that you can control. I go on stage every show, and I speak for Daniel as well. I go on stage for every show, and it fucking matters to me that it is a good, fun show. And if the audience is fun and I'm fun, this is going to be an awesome fucking hour where I want someone going, I want more, I will be back. And that is how you go from here, like we talked about, to this hotel room is not good enough for me.
Yeah. I think I've said this before, but it's the thing is like you could play beautiful, amazing music for nobody. You cannot do comedy without an audience.
Gotta have it.
Doesn't it? It's a symbiotic
and
thing.
It isn't
same with the podcast.
It isn't the money. It's because the show itself, the heartbeat and the rhythm of the show.
It's not comedy if there's no one to laugh at it.
It's not a one-way street.
Yeah.
It needs the rhythm. It needs it. It's a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
really
the most concise answer I've ever given to
you were
anything in my
very
entire
on
life.
point. You were very on point.
I read this and I was like, I want to deconstruct.
You made me
this
think
entire
about
thing.
it. Like I won't even if a TV doesn't work, I won't complain. Air conditioning, I will.
100%.
Yes, but even a TV, I'll think to myself, you once slept
I know.
in a bathroom on the tile floor, and you had to sneak past. You and these other comics had to sneak past the front desk because you for sure, maybe you were just drunk, that they were counting how many people were in your room.
Yes.
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 And because I wanted to have a door and I could have done floor carpet, but I was like, I'll at least have my own room. I slept on a blanket with a blanket, and that shitty little thin top blanket.
And not a
on
nice
a tile
hotel.
floor. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah, I've been in some spots.
What do you want to?
You love it.
What should we do with this?
I think that's it.
You do?
I think that was a whole breakdown.
You know what
I think
I
we saved
thought?
this other letter for the next episode.
What if I read the other letter, and then we answer it later, or do you want to just save the whole thing? You hesitated. Do you want to save the whole thing?
I think save it. Yeah.
I know you. I know you.
But
wait, let's do
Bob,
this.
yeah.
I don't even care if this stays in and it goes back. Let's say we'll be right back. We should apologize for interrupting ourselves.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We should apologize for interrupting ourselves, and then go back to the episode.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Okay, ready? Okay.
Well, I got to close out this letter, though, with Bob.
Yeah, but that'll be the end of the episode.
Oh, got it. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll follow your lead.
So this will either. I mean, it's just us now.
Notice this wasn't here. We didn't throw the letters or do.
Oh my god.
We do need her, but Chad is fired.
I think he quit.
Oh, yeah,
Chad's
Chad's
get more
asleep.
cigarettes.
Oh, no, Chad's here. He's asleep.
Oh, hey.
Chad's under the desk.
Okay. If for anybody's stressing, no comic makes fun of people they don't love.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't love Chad. Go ahead.
Okay, ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold up real quick, Rory.
Why?
Let's take a quick break and we'll come right back to this.
Great. Okay.
All right, we're back. What were you saying?
I was just saying, Bob, thank you so much for this.
Wait, no,
letter.
what?
Wait, what am I supposed to say?
This would be when we come back to after interrupting.
Wait, when did we interrupt?
At any point in the thing, just to have taken a break.
Oh, okay.
This will go back into that.
I see.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're back. Rory, what were you saying?
I was just saying.
Great. I don't know how confusing that is. I don't care if Lissa takes what she needs to put that in and then leaves this.
You talk to Alyssa. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, because you guys aren't on speaking terms.
But we never will be again. Bob, I loved this letter. Thank you so much. Great question. I hope that, I mean, if you're sitting there going, well, I didn't really answer the question, I can't
What?
do
I
better
think
than
we
that.
totally did.
I gave a thesis.
I've never felt more confident in you answering. And so much for you were
Whole
fucking,
thesis.
dude. You were fucking riding that wave that you were even like, I know I'm talking. You were like coming to, you were checking on me.
I felt an energy.
You were like a Brad Pitt at the end of A River Runs Through Babylon.
A river runs through Babylon. That's
Dude, that mashup trailer. It's the prequel.
Runs Through
That would be that timeline might check out.
that might actually check out.
But that's the prequel.
I'm gonna talk to Damien. I'm gonna talk to Paramount.
Okay, do it.
Bob, thank you so
Bob.
much. We wish you well. Sincerely, your pen pals, Rory Scovel.
And Daniel Van Kirk.
That's it.
Yeah.
Take that, listen, Chad. Take that. And edit it and obviously punch it up and master it and whatever else has to get done.